Hello and welcome to Atlantic Center for the Arts in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. I'm Eve Payer, the Director of Community Programs, and today I'll be leading us all on a Soundwalk of Atlantic Center for the Arts. There are many different types of Soundwalks, as many of you who have attended any of our Soundwalks in the last 3 years, you know that typically we are listening to the natural environment. We are listening for various different reasons with different intentions. And today I'd like to take us on a sound walk of the sounds of Atlantic Center for the Arts. And there are many different ways to engage in a sound walk. Some of them are with headphones and they're a guided tour. Other times it is the pure intent of just being in the moment and listening to everything around you. And that includes every single sound. It could be what we consider noise, or it could be something that is musical to your ear. And with that in mind, I'd like to take today's theme towards composer John Cage, who worked very intensely through all his life with sounds being a representation of exactly what they are. So today's tour is going to be through the whole campus. We start here in the Visitor Center and Gallery at our main campus. And this is the Jack Mitchell Portrait Gallery, which includes many of the master artists that have been to ACA over the years since 1977 for our artist residency program. Then we'll go through some of our artist studios and experience some of the things along the way. We have 68 acres here, and we'll just be looking at a small portion of that. Our main campus facilities are located on just a few acres of that whole 68. The rest 68 acres is pristine, thanks to the preservation efforts of the founder of ACA, Doris Leeper. So speaking about vibrations and them coming at us all the time, they're everywhere. In every single impulse that happens around us causes a vibration, and sometimes that is able to be perceived by the human ear. Sometimes it's such low frequency that we feel it with our body, but we don't actually hear it with our ears. Well, in composer John Cage's work, he wanted to make sure that sounds are sounds. That, for example, in his words, a bucket sounds like a bucket. And he worked mainly with the musical reclamation of noise. So sounds that others might have deemed unwanted or not a part of music. He embraced all of them and came up with some amazing compositions, one of his most famous being 4 minutes 33 seconds, which is a wonderful role using ambience and the sounds that are aside from what we consider in classical Western music as the notes. He had a score for a pianist to sit in front of the piano and sit there for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. And it caused quite the stir when it first was debuted. People were booing, they didn't know what was happening, but what they were supposed to be doing was listening to all the things around them, listening to whether it could have been a cough of an audience member, or listening to the way sound moved within the room, listening to different mechanical features of the room, and being in that moment. John Cage did a lot of work with chants and the improvisation of nature, and he used the I Ching to give him direction for his compositions, just kind of rolling a dice and seeing, okay, that's the direction I'm going to go, letting those influences come to him. So I've started right here in the gallery because his partner, Merce Cunningham, a choreographer, during the same time, obviously, he was composing music. They did a lot of collaborative work together, was a master artist here at Atlantic Center for the Arts. And I had only wished I had been around at the time to be able to shake his hand and let him know of the amazing legacy that he and John Cage were leaving on the art world. I'd like to give you a quick quote of John Cage. He says, "The role of music is to reveal the life that invisibly flows in and through us at all moments." So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take our tour. This will be a silent tour, meaning that I won't give narration or guide, but I would like to play a little bit with some of the sounds that we have around Atlantic Center for the Arts and really amplify those for you. I'll be carrying with me a recorder, a Zoom recorder, that will be picking up these sounds in a bit more high definition, so you'll be able to hear these sounds much better with this particular device. There's really an amazing creativity that permeates all the buildings at this site. It is unique to anywhere else I've ever been, and sometimes when we're in residency, I see artists playing the buildings, and I see them using the songs of nature that are around this campus in their compositions and for inspiration. So it's a really resonating environment that we have right here, and that's what I'd like to share with you today. So as we start our journey, let's breathe together before we get going. Let's inhale and exhale. Inhale again and exhale. And one more time, inhale and exhale. This exercise helps us to center, to focus, and to be in the moment, to open our ears. So we're going to use our ears as our eyes for this. Let's begin. So let's come back and breathe again together. Let's take an inhale in, exhale, inhale again, and exhale. One more time, inhale, and exhale. So how was that for you all? Did you hear any sounds that you had never heard before or that you weren't expecting to hear? What about sounds that maybe inspired you? For me, that was very different of an experience than working here every day. I am aware of certain sounds, like how the doors open, and of course the different textures when you're walking on the boardwalk, and how it changes when you move into a studio. But they were different. I've noticed since there has been less traffic, both on the roads and in the air, it's changed the soundscape of Atlantic Center for the Arts quite a bit. You could hear a couple of planes, but normally it's about every 30 seconds as we hear little smaller aircraft. So that was quite different. We hear one in the background right now. As it fades off into the distance. I'm always inspired at Atlantic Center for the Arts, and the artists that are here on a regular basis are also inspired by this location because it's a site for collaboration between disciplines and also for process. It's not about what kind of product you can come up with in your time here. It's about the process of being creative, having that time for research and development for artists. And that process of creativity is so very important. I'd like to end today's Soundwalk with a quote from John Cage about process. You say, the real, the world as it is, but it is not. It becomes. It moves, it changes. It doesn't wait for us to change. It is more mobile than you can imagine. You are getting closer to this reality when you say, as it presents itself. That means it is not there, existing as an object. The world, the real, is not an object. It is a process. So I'd like to thank you all for joining me on this Soundwalk, a little bit of a different one. In the times where we can all gather back together, we will have other Soundwalks in the fall of 2020, and I invite you to join us for those beginning in October. But we will continue to have programming available for your homes and, able to be accessed online in the coming weeks. So keep tuning back and seeing what we're offering. And again, thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.